Chapter 474 Lord of Soul Beasts. The Snow Empress said seriously, in the future, we'll do our best to become gods. Once your grandfather becomes a god, we can also enter the god realm and break free from the limits of this world. This is why you need to fuse with your grandfather. After fusing, you can use this manifold mysterious ice essence to ensure that your spiritual sense is protected. Things will be fine like this. Alright, Mom. Whatever you say, I'll listen to you. I know you won't harm me. I still thought that you were biased towards a Tai. It seems like you're really biased, but you're biased towards me. Our Tai has no chance of becoming a god. Ha ha ha. I'm so happy. Who are you? Ao's heart couldn't take it. This Ice Bear King has a one-track mind. Is he not worried that he can't make a successful breakthrough? Right now, he finally understood why the Snow Empress wanted to pass the position of the leader of the Ice Plains of the extreme north to the Titan Snow Devil King, instead of the Ice Bear King. The Snow Empress nodded and said, it's good as long as you're willing to, because it involves giving up your own body. You have to be completely willing to do so. You can't be forced at all. I'm not forced. I'm not forced at all. The Ice Bear King said delightedly. The Snow Empress said, alright, you should return to your tribe to recount things to them. Once you leave this time, I'm afraid you won't have time to return anymore. Alright. The Ice Bear King agreed before turning and rushing off. The Ice Empress laughed. Little Bai is really that naive. He hasn't changed in all these years. He trusts you completely. The Snow Empress smiled and said, Daddy formed a soul core, and his spiritual power is enough to accommodate another spirit. Let's take this spot first before he gives it to his spirit eyes. Given Little Bai's abilities, he can be the 8th and 9th soul rings. When Daddy cultivates until he reaches 8 rings, he can fuse completely with Little Bai. After that, I'll help Little Bai suppress some of his powers and wait until Daddy reaches rank 90 before letting him become the 9th soul ring of Daddy's ultimate ice martial soul. I'm confident with the manifold mysterious ice essence around. Who are you? Al revealed a bitter smile on his face. Snow Empress, can you change? The Ice Empress immediately nodded. Change it. I can't stand it either. The Snow Empress glanced at Huo Yuao and said, I'll change it if you stop being so skeptical in the future. Don't forget that I'm your first spirit, and I gave you 4 soul rings. This means that we are actually very closely connected. Furthermore, because you burned your teacher's divine senses as an intermediary to connect with my spiritual mind, I'm able to sense everything in your mind. Huo Yuao was in a daze. Yes. I completely forgot about that. I've been using my mind to control the Snow Lady all this while. After she regained her memory, this became mutual. Without a doubt, the Snow Empress must have had sensed his intentions and emotional changes. That was why she mentioned this. The Snow Empress drifted to his side. Alright, I'll call you by your name and you'll call me the Snow Lady. Not only is this less unfamiliar, but it's also less weird. Okay. Huo Yuao nodded repeatedly. Snow Lady is great. It sounds the most natural. The Ice Empress expression turned slightly weird now. The look in her eyes appeared to be that of jealousy at this moment. The Snow Empress said to Huo Yuao, they'll need some time to return. You can cultivate here first. The environment of the extreme north is extremely suitable for you to cultivate. Alright. The Snow Empress problem had been settled, and Huo Yuao was in a good mood right now. He sat cross-legged on the ground and immediately entered a cultivation state. This was already the core region of the extreme north. The temperature was extremely low. If an ordinary person were here, he would become an ice sculpture in just a few breaths. In such an extremely chilly environment, the amount of ice was naturally greater than in most other places. Huo Yuao's ultimate ice martial soul had only fused with a part of the Ice Empress strength in the beginning. It wasn't pure enough yet. However, he slowly fused with the soul power origin of the Ice Empress as his powers increased. As his own abilities increased, his ultimate ice became more and more elemental. This was especially so after he fused with the Snow Empress, who became his spirit. His ultimate ice was slowly becoming stronger and stronger. However, Huo Yuao did face difficulties in this process. For example, when the Snow Empress poured her ice-type origin energy into him, he was disabled for some time. After absorbing the manifold mysterious ice essence, Huo Yuao's own condition had improved leaps and bounds. Such an improvement couldn't be described physically. Rather, it was his increased sensations of his ultimate ice. During this process, his ultimate ice also started to become more and more extreme. In fact, to say that something was ultimate was just a way of describing it. There was no way such an extreme could ever be achieved. Whether it was Huo Yuao's ultimate ice, the Snow Empress ultimate ice, or the Ice Empress ultimate ice, they couldn't possibly reach absolute zero. However, as Huo Yuao's abilities improved and his understanding of ultimate ice increased, they kept on proceeding in this direction. An ice-type soul master could reach just above -100 degrees Celsius, and his soul skills could also reach such a standard. However, more and more ice-type soul masters would fail as the temperature continued to fall. When the temperature reached -150 degrees Celsius, every unit drop in temperature required not just hard work, but also talent, and the quality of a soul master's martial soul. Huo Yuao's ultimate ice was the most terrifying in the sense that it kept on changing. The Ice Empress had reached an all-time low of -190 degrees Celsius at her peak, whereas the Snow Empress could reach around -205 degrees Celsius. These were their limits. These were also the limits of the continent's ice-type soul beasts and ice-type soul masters. This was why an ultimate ice martial soul referred to a temperature below -150 degrees Celsius when the martial soul unleashed a soul skill. Initially, Huo Yuao couldn't do this when he first fused with the Ice Empress, but as his cultivation improved, he was slowly proceeding in this direction. Right now, the lowest temperature that he could reach was already far below this temperature. Even though he couldn't compare to the Snow Empress and Ice Empress at their peaks, he could still control his soul skills to a temperature below -165 degrees Celsius after fusing with the manifold mysterious ice essence. This was the true standard of ultimate ice. This was especially so in recent times. After the Snow Empress woke up from her sleep, she gave him some guidance. With the Snow Empress help, Huo Yuao's understanding of ultimate ice kept on deepening. It was not to say that the Ice Empress didn't advise him in the past. However, the Ice Empress and Snow Empress were different. Although the Ice Empress had turned into Huo Yuao's martial soul, she was still a soul beast, and the Ice Jade Empress Scorpion. An Ice Jade Scorpion's cultivation method and understanding and control of ice elements were very different from humans. As the Ice Beast Snow Lady, the Snow Empress was a living spirit birthed from the essence of heaven and earth even though she was categorized as a soul beast. She looked very similar to humans. This was why Huo Yuao found it easier to implement her advice. The Snow Empress kept on emphasizing that Huo Yuao was very reliant on his spirit eyes. Right now, his spirit eyes had grown to a certain standard, and his soul core had already been formed. If he wanted to improve further, the amount of effort that he needed to use was going to be many times higher. His ultimate ice martial soul hadn't been completely tapped yet. This was why he needed to improve his second martial soul if he really wanted to increase his abilities. It was even more essential for him to understand his own martial soul in the ice element. Just like the Snow Empress had said, it was much easier for him to understand the mysteries of ice in the core region of the extreme north compared to other places. Huo Yuao relaxed his body and circulated his mysterious heaven technique. He switched to his Ice Jade Empress Scorpion. Naturally, his mysterious heaven technique turned into a cold current that flowed through his body. Although his spirit eyes were shut, his immense spiritual control was still there. Huo Yuao didn't cultivate directly, rather, he tried his best to relax and silently sense the ice around him. Ice was the solid state of water. Water nourished all living beings and was the origin of life. However, ice could complete life. To some extent, water and ice weren't just related by temperature. They represented the changes between life and death. He was silently sensing things around him and understanding them. He was very invested in it. The Snow Empress stood beside him and shut her beautiful eyes. She was also silently sensing. What she sensed were Huo Yuao's emotions and the changes in his body. She looked very calm and peaceful as she stood there. There was a slight smile on her face. She didn't look as cold as she used to be. It felt as if she were a wife trying to protect her lover. The Ice Empress was a little dazed as she stood to one side. She also didn't understand why the Snow Empress was so nice to Huo Yuao. It isn't about working together anymore. Don't tell me that the Snow Empress likes him. Impossible. This is impossible. The Snow Empress is the Ice Snow Lady, a genie of heaven and earth. How could she fall for a human? However, the way she called to him, the Ice Empress thought of how the Snow Empress had called Huo Yuao daddy earlier and felt goosebumps on her arms. Don't think too much. Just follow your heart. A projection silently drifted from Huo Yuao's body and landed beside the Ice Empress. It was the Sky Dream Iceworm's human form. I don't need you to care. The Ice Empress snapped. The Sky Dream Iceworm chuckled and said, when it comes to relationships, you really have to seek me for advice. I'm great at them. How so? The Ice Empress asked, unimpressed. The Sky Dream Iceworm replied delightedly, of course I'm great at them. See, I made you fall in love with me unwittingly. Am I not great? Do you have any shame? Do iceworms have any shame? Brother Sky Dream asked casually, I really want to strangle you. The Ice Empress twisted her head and looked at him fiercely. Brother Sky Dream looked deeply into her eyes. Could you bear to do so? Scram. The Ice Empress lifted her hands and wanted to push him away. The Sky Dream Iceworm flipped his wrist and grabbed her arm. Naturally, he pulled her into his embrace. You. The Ice Empress was furious as she struggled. However, he lowered his head and kissed her on the lips. Suddenly, the Ice Empress body flashed with jade green electricity. After this, her entire body turned rigid. If any soul beast from the extreme north saw this, it would instantly be greatly shocked. Ice Empress. She was the Ice Empress. She was only inferior to the Snow Empress in the extreme north. The strongest Ice Jade Scorpion was actually kissed by someone. The Sky Dream Iceworm was only sneaking an attack initially, but very soon, he discovered that the Ice Empress didn't resist at all. Her hands even tightly grabbed onto the front of his shirt, which he had conjured up using his spiritual sense. How could he possibly give up such a rare opportunity? The half-hearted attempt instantly turned into deep research. His kiss was extremely passionate. The Ice Empress body gradually turned from rigid to soft. Although she appeared to be trying to push the Sky Dream Iceworm away, she didn't do so in the end. The Snow Empress lifted her head to look at the two of them. She shook her head helplessly and shut her eyes. Even the Ice Empress reacted over after being kissed many times. When she used force to push Brother Sky Dream away, her face was already red. He put on a fantastic performance at this moment, revealing an indignant look on his face, as if he were a kid that had done something wrong. He lowered his head. I was wrong. The Ice Empress was about to rage, but couldn't help but be stunned when she saw him like this. Before she could even rage, she subconsciously asked, "What did you do wrong?" The Sky Dream Iceworm lowered his head and said, My first kiss has been given to you just like that. Ice, you must take responsibility." The Ice Empress was stunned for a moment. After this, she raged. Nonsense. Wasn't that my first kiss too? Indeed so. Brother Sky Dream instantly lifted his head. There was a look of delightful surprise on his face. Even his eyes were shining brightly. Do you want to die? The Ice Empress aura ballooned. This time, she was well and truly going to rage. Stop. Ice, clan down. Let me analyze the Snow Empress situation for you right now. The Sky Dream Iceworm immediately changed his expression and looked very serious. The Ice Empress had already lifted her hand, but when she saw him like that, she eventually didn't smack him. Tell me. The Ice Empress gritted her teeth and demanded. The Sky Dream Iceworm was serious as he said. The situation that the Snow Empress is facing is very normal. Initially, she wanted to be reborn as a human and seek an important path. This was because she realized that as a soul beast, she can't possibly overcome the limits of this world no matter how strong she is, even if she were like Titian, and reach the godly realm. This is something that soul beasts can't accomplish. She only has a chance by being reborn as a human. However, who knew that she would meet despicable humans who took her embryo away just as she was filled with hope? She was greatly tormented because of that, as she was likely to become a human soul master's soul ring. It was Yuao who saved her. Then, the Snow Empress didn't lose her awareness. She was still as strong as ever. Without any choice, she fused into Yuao's body and left with him. From then on, she truly entered the world of humans. Not long after that, her compressed origin power was completely unleashed because Yuao absorbed the frigid jade essence bed, which led to her fusion as his spirit. Because of that, Yuao's teacher had to burn his divine sense and left this world. Although the Snow Empress didn't explicitly say it, she has always felt that she owes Yuao. Furthermore, Yuao treated her very well after she became the Snow Lady. After some time, some feelings must have developed. The Snow Empress was originally the Ice Beast Snow Lady. In the extreme north, all soul beasts respected and feared her. From Yuao, she sensed unprecedented closeness. When she was still the little Snow Lady, she really treated Yuao as her father. This was why she found it very natural to call him daddy all this while. Right now, the Snow Empress choice was made because of two reasons. First, she's tired of the lonely life she has here and is striving to integrate into the world of humans. Second, I reckon that she has no way of leaving Yuao. The fusion between her and Yuao is even deeper than ours. The Ice Empress was astonished and asked, "How is that possible? I am Yuao's martial soul. You're not too shabby either. You've even fused your spiritual origin with him. How can our fusion with him not be as deep as his with the Snow Empress?" The Sky Dream Iceworm chuckled and answered, "You probably won't know this. You forgot something important. When the Snow Empress became Yuao's spirit, Yuao's teacher, Electrolux, actually burned the remnants of his divine sense. No matter what, he was halfway to becoming a god. Under such a circumstance, do you not agree that a fusion using the remnants of his divine sense would be deeper? I can feel that the Snow Empress and Yuao might even be related by blood. This is what we lack. This also means that her origin might have become a part of Yuao. As a teacher, Electrolux must have had left some benefits for his own disciple by sacrificing his own life. Because of that, Yuao feels much closer to the Snow Empress." After hearing the Sky Dream Iceworm's analysis, the Ice Empress forgot about how she was taken advantage of earlier and entered a pensive state. The Sky Dream Iceworm said, "All right, Ice, I'm going to return to Yuao's body to cultivate. I haven't fully absorbed the manifold mysterious ice essence." After he finished speaking, he turned into a beam of flowing light and vanished into Yuao's body. After a brief moment, the Ice Empress reacted, "I haven't settled my score with this scoundrel for taking advantage of me." However, Yuao was cultivating right now. She couldn't possibly cause a disturbance in his spiritual sea. She was immediately furious as she parted her lips. However, she turned slightly red from embarrassment when she recalled how the Sky Dream Iceworm had kissed her. Apart from embarrassment, she also felt a slight sense of sweetness. When Yuao awoke from his meditation, he only felt that his entire body had become completely clear. In this short span of time, he felt as if he had turned into a block of ice and sensed the eternal past of ice. However, when he opened his eyes, he immediately discovered that he was probably the only one who thought that only a short amount of time had passed. This was because there were a bunch of Titan Snow Devils standing around him. The Titan Snow Devil King was standing in front. Not far from him was the Ice Bear King. Evidently, they had returned after accounting to their own people. The Snow Empress still stood beside Yuao, and she smiled as she said, "You're awake. You've achieved pretty good results." Seeing the smile on her face, both the Titan Snow Devil King and Ice Bear King were in a slight daze. The Snow Empress has smiled? Since when has she liked smiling? Is she smiling for this weak human being? Yuao drifted up and nodded at the Snow Empress before saying, "I don't know what I've comprehended, but it feels good." The Snow Empress said, "We still need to wait for a while before we can leave. Ice has also returned to her own people. I'm not sure whether she'll return upon leaving this time. She'll need to account to her own species too." "All right." Yuao was moved. After fusing with the manifold mysterious ice essence, the Ice Empress origin had indeed been completely consolidated. She could now remain some distance from Yuao. The Snow Empress shared a strong sense of telepathy with him, and naturally knew what he was thinking. She nodded and said, "At least within the core region of the extreme north. However, she can't do it for too long. After all, their origins are in your body. If they remain too far away from you, their spiritual sense will weaken. They can only recover in your body. After leaving your body, they'll only be draining themselves." "I see." Yuao was enlightened. The Ice Empress didn't make them wait too long. In less than 2 hours, she had already turned into a beam of jade green light and returned. However, she didn't say anything, and directly fused back into Yuao's body. Her separation from her own species had inevitably left her slightly depressed. The Ice Bear King and Titan Snow Devil King opened their eyes wide in shock when they saw the Ice Empress fusing into Yuao's body just like that. They didn't know what was going on. The Snow Empress calmly said, "All right, let's move on." As she spoke, she dragged Yuao up and landed on the Ice Bear King's wide shoulders. It was Yuao's first time sitting on an ice bear. He felt as if he was sitting on a mountain as he sat on the Ice Bear King's shoulders. There was even the massive Titan Snow Devil King beside him. The Titan Snow Devil King was now the leader of the Ice Plains of the extreme north. Yuao twisted his head towards the Snow Empress and asked, "Snow Empress, are you trying to use the Titan Snow Devil King to deal with the Sun Moon Empire?" The Snow Empress nodded and answered, "Your individual strength is too weak. Furthermore, the Sun Moon Empire has invaded our territory, which makes them our enemy. To us, this is an insider thing." Yuao smiled and didn't say anything else. The Snow Empress turned around and didn't look at him. Seeing her ravishing face, Yuao felt his heart soften. He wasn't developing romantic feelings. Instead, he was thinking about the Snow Lady. To him, the little Snow Lady was like his daughter and his younger sister. What about the Snow Lady now? Elder sister. When he thought about an elder sister, Hua Yuao felt a sudden heartache. It's been a long time. I wonder how Sister Shadow is. After we parted, Kiyua sacrificed herself. Then, my emotions were very unstable, and I had to face the beast wave from the Great Stardow Forest. I had no choice but to rush back to Shrek City. After that, it was the war against the Sun Moon Empire. I don't know where Sister Shadow is. Even though I helped to suppress the evil fire in her, it's already been a long time. Her evil fire might have acted up again. Will she be involved in the war? If that's the case, how can I face her? No matter what, I must save her. With his recent experiences, Hua Yuao had confidence of helping Ma Xiaotao with the evil fire in her body. Among his various options, the manifold mysterious ice essence was the best choice. As long as he fused some of the manifold mysterious ice essence in his body into Ma Xiaotao, he could completely neutralize her evil fire with the Ice Empress, Snow Empress and Star Anise mysterious ice grass help. If the three ultimate ice spirits that he had couldn't do it, there wouldn't be anyone in the world who could. When he thought until here, Hua Yuao decided that he had to find her when he went to the Heavenly Soul Empire. I hope I can find her. If I find her, I'll be able to find out about Teacher Xiaoya too. I hope she's fine. Seeing that Hua Yuao was in deep thought, the Snow Empress didn't disrupt him. She quietly sat on the Ice Bear King's shoulders. While the Ice Bear King was very huge, he was very quick when he started galloping. He was like a mountain that was sliding on ice. There were also more than 100 Titan Snow Devils running with him. They were huge. Every step they took covered more than 100 meters. When they leapt up, they could even cover more than 500 meters. In just 2 leaps, they covered 1 kilometer. Given such a speed, they could match Hua Yuao's all-out flying speed. This was the great strength of the extreme north. No wonder the ice plains of the extreme north were a promised land. This had close ties with their immense abilities. Seeing the astonishment in Hua Yuao's eyes, the Snow Empress smiled and said, "This is the core strength of the extreme north. The strength we can utilize is something that you can't imagine. It's just like how you've never seen the core strength of the Great Stardow Forest before." Oh. After hearing the Snow Empress mentioning the Great Stardow Forest, Hua Yuao's curiosity was piqued. "I've not seen the core strength of the Great Stardow Forest. Don't tell me that the 5 great savage beasts that started the beast wave didn't form their core strength." The Snow Empress shook her head and said, "The 5 great savage beasts are the strongest soul beasts in the Great Stardow Forest right now. However, if we're talking about core strength, it's not been utilized yet. In fact, your knowledge of DTN is still sorely lacking. He doesn't rule the entire Great Stardow Forest. He's also the spokesperson of all soul beasts. If he really wanted to go all out to deal with humans, the Great Stardow Forest wouldn't be the only one to have attacked. Even the extreme north would also have to accept his commands and attack humans. When that happens, it'll be a distraction for both sides. Humans are indeed quite strong. However, the hundreds of thousands and million-year cultivations that we have can't be easily overcome. Even if the humans win against us, the destruction to the continent would still be extremely immense." Wait a minute. Hua Yuao suddenly exclaimed and asked, "Snow Lady, what did you say just now? What do you mean when you say that DTN is the spokesperson of all soul beasts? Don't tell me that there's a stronger and more powerful soul beast in this world." The Snow Empress nodded seriously and answered, "Yes, there is. At least, that's what the legends say. In the continent, apart from strange existences like the Sky Dream Ice Worm, we also acknowledge that DTN is the strongest and oldest. The evil eye tyrant is only inferior to him. Only living beings like us that have been around for so long know about the existence of a lord." Hua Yuao asked, "Who is this Lord of Soul Beasts? If even DTN calls him Lord, isn't he a god then?" The Snow Empress smiled and said, "The Lord of Soul Beasts is a god. You should have heard before that our Lord is the Dragon God. The Dragon God is the earliest soul beast to have been birthed, and has his own godly seat in the godly realm. For some unknown reason, the Dragon God perished, but all the soul beasts on the Douluo continent recognize him as our Lord. He has 9 sons, but we don't really consider his children as our lords. Rather, we recognize his avatar after he perished as our lord. The legends say that the Dragon God wasn't accepted into the godly realm because he was a soul beast. He separated into 2 different dragons, and has always been 1 tier away from being a god. These 2 dragons are the Golden Dragon and Silver Dragon. Among them, the Golden Dragon inherited the great strength of the Dragon God, whereas the Silver Dragon inherited the Dragon God's control of the elements: water, fire, earth, wind, light and darkness. Both of them excelled in their own fields, and were very powerful. They dominated the entire Douluo continent, and ruled the world of soul beasts together. Back then, when the 2 Dragon Kings and 9 sons of the Dragon God ruled, the dragon species was extremely strong. Dragons also ruled over all the soul beasts. Afterward, it seemed like a catastrophe hit the Douluo continent. The 2 Dragon Kings led the 9 sons and the other powerful dragons to resist that catastrophe. Eventually, almost all of them died. DTN seems to be the only remaining powerful dragon from that catastrophe. This is why I said that he's the spokesperson of the Lord of Soul Beasts. That's because he's the strongest dragon to have survived, and his blood lineage is the purest. The legends also posit that there was a descendant of the Dragon God that survived. As for who it is, only DTN might know. I'm not clear on that. However, I've sensed the oldest soul beast to have ever existed in the Great Stardow Forest. This soul beast is indeed very strong. This strength is hidden within this entire Great Stardow Forest. He's not the only one. There is another one whose job is to protect it. DTN controls this strength. That is the true core strength of the Great Stardow Forest. To Hua Yuao, the Snow Empress words could only be explained by the legends. Was there really someone stronger in the Great Stardow Forest? Snow Lady, who do you reckon this surviving ancient dragon to be? Hua Yuao asked. The Snow Empress shook her head and said, "I'm not clear either. I believe that it's more likely to be one of the Dragon God's 9 sons. Of course, it could also be the Golden Dragon King or Silver Dragon King. However, this possibility is a little too low. After all, the strengths of the 2 Dragon Kings were very critical in resisting the catastrophe. As they were the avatars of the Dragon God, they can't possibly produce offspring. If their actual bodies were still around, do you really think humans could rule the continent?" Hua Yuao chortled and argued, "It's not impossible. If they were greatly hurt in that catastrophe, they might need time to recuperate." The Snow Empress laughed. "You'd better not be wishing for that scenario to happen. If that's the case, humans will be in grave danger." Hua Yuao shook his head and laughed. "I'm only kidding. If someone as powerful as him survived, how could he possibly not have recovered after so many years? However, since you've sensed that there are other powers in the Great Stardow Forest, it might really be DTN's trump card." The Snow Empress smiled and said, "Do you know why I told you all this?" Hua Yuao replied, "Don't tell me that you're trying to dissuade me from resisting DTN." The Snow Empress shook her head and replied, "Of course not. I'm giving you encouragement. Furthermore, I'm also trying to tell you that DTN might not be your strongest enemy. There might be someone stronger in the Great Stardow Forest. This is why you should never be overly pleased with yourself, even when you become very strong in the future." Hua Yuao nodded seriously and said, "I won't." Hua Yuao and the Snow Empress sat on the Ice Bear King's body and used much less time before they returned to their target area. The aura of hundreds of charging Titan Snow Devils was simply too strong. This was why the Snow Empress asked them to stop when they were around 50 kilometers away from the Sun Moon Empire. "Yuao, from now on, you'll command them. You'll decide what to do. I'm re-entering your body to rest." As she spoke, the Snow Empress turned into a beam of white light and fused into Hua Yuao's body before disappearing. Before this, the Snow Empress had already introduced the abilities of the Titan Snow Devil King, the Titan Snow Devils, and the Ice Bear King to Hua Yuao. She had also instructed them to listen to Hua Yuao's orders. Originally, the 2 of them didn't really like humans. However, Hua Yuao was different. Just like the Snow Empress said, he wanted to enter the God realm. Also, the Snow Empress even called him Daddy. This was why both Soul Beast Kings didn't dare to delay any further. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.